So this morning's message is entitled The Light That Brings Us Home. The Light That Brings Us Home. You know, when I was serving my 6 years in the Navy, I had the opportunity to fly with two absolutely amazing squadrons. Fleet Air Reconnaissance Squadron 1 and 2, VQ 1 and 2 as they're known, and the World Watchers and the Batman. And during that time, I had the opportunity to endure more than my share of carrier landings. And if you ever have the opportunity to do that, I would say don't. It's certainly not something for the faint of heart, and certainly not something that you're used to doing. A lot of our pilots said it's like trying to land a plane on a postage stamp that's rocking in the middle of the ocean, and it can certainly be an adventure. But when one's actually trying to land a plane on the carrier, one of the most important things is following the light that leads you home. And on the aircraft carriers are systems called optical landing systems, and they are controlled by a person called the landing systems officer. And when you're trying to put your plane back on the deck, he or she is the most important person in the world. That optical landing system is actually a large orange light that pilots can see as they're making their approach. It's often called the meatball, or the ball, simply the ball. And so when you're in that final approach, about 15 to 18 seconds out from hopefully touching down on the deck, you do what's called calling the ball. And it sounds like something like this. Spooky, Sky Warrior 221, I've got the ball, 5.7. What that means is you identify yourself, who you are, what your squadron is, what your tail number is, how much fuel you have left, in case you have to do it again, in case they have to wave you off and you have to come around and land again. But during that operation, that ball, that light is really the only thing that calls you home. The only thing that calls you home. And that landing systems officer, your life is totally in their hands. So yes, pilots flying the plane, but you kind of know where you're going, but all you can do is follow the light, and follow the light. And so when you actually do get back on deck and you feel your tail hook hit that wire, man, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. It's an amazing feeling. You're home, you made it, and it's perfect. It's perfect. This morning we have some amazing words from Peter. And you know, Peter isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, but he often gets it wrong. But today he gets it very, very right. And he says this: you will do well to be attentive to this, as to a lamp shining in the dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. You should be attentive to this as to a lamp shining in the dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. So when you're ready to put your ship on the deck, you are following the lamp shining in a dark place. talking about Jesus, and he was a witness. He was a witness to the most amazing thing that happened up on the mountain that Deacon Donna shared with us today, the transfiguration of Jesus. And when Peter, James, and John were struggling, walking up the mountain following Jesus, they really had no idea where they were going or what they were doing or how it was going to end or what was going to happen. They were simply following the light. They're simply calling the ball. They're trying to land. And Jesus was the light. Jesus was the light that was going to bring them home, that was going to dawn the morning star in their hearts. But they didn't know that. They didn't know that. But then they got up there. Oh my gosh, they got up there. Can you imagine? They got up there and that amazing vision that they saw. Who did they see? They see Moses and Elijah, the most famous elders of the Jewish tradition. And they saw Jesus all together, and he's talking to them. He's chatting them up. Can you imagine what they were thinking? What is going on here? What is this? And then the clouds rolled in, and out of the clouds said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Yep. Better listen to him. Yeah, what an amazing day. A transfiguring day, not only for Jesus, but for Peter and James and John as well. Because they flew in simply following the ball. They flew in simply not knowing where they were going, hoping they would land safely, and indeed they did. Why? Because they had faith. They had faith enough to climb the mountain. They had faith enough to follow the light. They had faith enough to say, yes, okay, Jesus, I don't know where we're going. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm barely in control of this thing. But I trust in you. I know you're going to get me home safely. I know you're going to get me home safely. They're rewarded. They're rewarded. They saw what no one ever saw. And Peter, that fisherman, that stumbling block, that one who never ever gets it right, finally landed successfully, was granted this beautiful, beautiful vision. And from then on, yes, he made a couple of mistakes. Yes, he denied Jesus 3 times. But he came on strong. He came on strong because of that. Because of that beautiful vision and that transformation, he was able to weather that storm. He was able to come back strong. This is my Son, my beloved, with whom I am well pleased. We ourselves heard this voice come from heaven while we were with him on the mountain. So, saints, what's my message for you today? My message is sometimes our life is like us landing on that carrier. We're trying to hit a small target, tossed and pushed on the ocean. We're not quite sure if we have enough fuel to get back on deck. We're totally dependent on something other than our own skill, other than our own thoughts about how we need to fly. We're totally dependent on that landing systems officer. We're totally dependent on the light. And that light for us, saints, is Jesus. When we totally put our faith and trust and our love into the Jesus way, we're going to get back on deck. We're going to feel the tail hook grab that wire. And we're going to feel the morning star shine in our hearts like never, ever before. These are my beloved children, in whom I am well pleased. Follow the light.